Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. I don't do these vlogs very often anymore now, do I? I'm excited to do another one, even if a lot of the subjects today are not the funnest, I guess. But we have a few things that I can talk about today. Man, what's it been, like a year since I did one of these vlogs? First of all, I've written down a whole bunch of notes right over here off camera on my main monitor here. So you're probably going to see me looking here a lot. That's me checking my notes to make sure that I'm like on track, because I am, if you've watched my streams, you know I'm the rambliest person in the world. So if I want to actually get to all the things I'm supposed to talk about today, then I'm going to have to look over here a lot and wear my glasses a little bit, because I'm a blind old 32-year-old, basically a decrepit old man. And this is the only way that I can read a lot of my notes. Like, can I even see that without my glasses on? It's like not even an arm's length away from me. My eyes have gotten so bad over the years. Yeah, like I pretty much need to squint if I want to read a lot of this. Anyway, I want to do vlogs more often, and this can be the start of that. I remember back in school that they taught you in like essay writing in English class that when you make your essay and you have your 3 points or whatever, you have your opener, and then you have your 3 points as like different paragraphs or sections or whatever. And your first point is like your medium strength one, and you have your weakest one in the middle, and you save your strongest one for last, right? Oh, and then, you know, the outro thing. I remember that's what they taught us. So now I don't know how universal that is, but I'm going to apply that to this video basically, but with like how happy and positive it is, I guess. So we'll have first health updates, because that's kind of like the medium one. It's not like positive, but it's not positive. Then the middle one is money, because that's the most depressing. If you were to put them on a scale of depressing, that would be the most depressing, even if I don't think it's necessarily depressing, but I mean, it's more depressing than show updates. You know, show updates is the fun one because it's stuff you can look forward to, which is why show updates is going to be the last one. I have time codes, or I'm going to have time codes when I'm, you know, done editing this. I'm going to have time codes in the description if you want to skip to just one section, or if you hover over the video, the little like play bar, the playhead bar thing, it'll have like sections for health, money, and show updates. So it'll be easy to find the only section you're interested in if you're not interested in some sections, but you're interested in other ones. All right, did I miss anything? No, that's everything I wanted in the intro. I had to lean in a little bit to see. So let's start with health updates. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna assume that like a good chunk of you guys don't know about any of my health stuff. I'm gonna assume that plenty of you don't know about the health stuff, because like the 2022 health stuff I only talked about in some old Pokemon outros and like a vlog or two, some random pre-streams, which the you know, the pre part of the stream doesn't even go on YouTube. So there's that. Then, sorry, birds immediately outside my window trying to get my attention. Anyway, I'm going to assume plenty of you don't know about it, about the 2024 stuff or the 2022 stuff, so I'm just going to give you like the full recap. First of all, just real quick, the 2022 health stuff and the 2024 health stuff seem to be completely unrelated, but I'll let you know in brief what the 2022 health stuff was, just because I know that some of you are going to be curious now that you hear me bring it up. Okay, so back in 2022, there was a day where I collapsed at home. I've been having these weird problems for like a week or two at that point, where sometimes when I was walking, I would be taking like walking breaks from work, my left hand would start tingling really bad, and it'd be pretty uncomfortable. But like, I have cerebral palsy. I have cerebral palsy and Ehlers-Danlos. I never really talk about this because I don't really like, I don't know, I never wanted to be known as like, oh, the disabled YouTuber. Like, look, there's tons of disabled YouTubers and they have much more serious disabilities than me. I don't want to always have that caveat added to the end of my name of disabled YouTuber Mah-Dry-Bread or Madrat Stowe or whatever. Like, no, I would rather just be YouTuber that I like, YouTuber who did this thing that I like, rather than have this caveat of like, this is what his physical disabilities are. That's so not a core part of who I am as a person. Sorry, diatribe. You know, I've had nerve issues before, and it felt kind of like nerve issues, so I didn't really think of anything of it until randomly one day when I was sitting at my computer, I was working, and all of a sudden I got this like really awful pain in my left side, kind of like under the armpit on the side of the chest, and I just ran into the other room and told my then wife, like, hey, I think something's like, something's happening, like I'm in pain here. I think what I said is like, I think my lung collapsed because like it felt like something like that happened, like it was hard to breathe and there's this awful pain there, and I laid down and like I could not get up. I started like shaking, not like unconscious convulsing or anything, but like I was shaking and I was unable to get up. I was in serious pain and everything. She called 911, paramedics got there. I got taken to the hospital and everything. Lung didn't collapse, by the way. Long story short, because I wasn't able to work for quite a while after that, a few months at least. I was able to get like a bit more work in over the course of like the next 5 days or something after that, but then I just couldn't work anymore. I would get awful pains sitting, I would get awful pains standing sometimes, I get awful pains walking, like it was really bad. So for a while I was just bedridden. That was an awful health thing. I got referred to a bunch of specialists during that time. I saw a cardiologist for my heart, obviously, did some tests there. I did like the stress test on the exercise bike and stuff like that. I saw an endocrinologist, I think is the name of the specialist, but they check like your thyroid and stuff. And God, I did so much blood work and so many urine tests for the doctors and for the specialists and everything. But you know, I ended up seeing the cardiologist and I saw the endo, and they let me know that like, no, your heart's good and no, your endo system's good. But both of them said, these problems sound more like a nerve problem. Have you looked into getting a nerve conduction test? So I talked to my doctor about a nerve conduction test, and she said, I can put you on a list for it, but I'm going to warn you now, the wait time is probably like a year. So they got me an MRI at least, which didn't take super long, which I was surprised about. I think it was like a month or something before I got an MRI. I was already back to working by this point, I think. Just muscling through it. It wasn't quite as bad as before, but it was still bad. People donated a bunch of money during that time, and I didn't want to, I felt like, okay, if I was good enough that I could at least work half the day-ish, if I was really careful, then I was just going to work and not tell anybody that the money was still bad. The money was still bad, and people were reaching out to me privately and saying that like, hey, ask for help if you need help. Sorry, I'm not comfortable with it. I feel like if I can just work and fix it that way, then I should just work. So I worked, at the detriment of my health to some degree, but in the end it worked out, I guess. So I ended up getting an MRI. There was a little bit of damage to my neck, but it wasn't too serious. So I talked to my doctor about it, and again, like the nerve conduction test was still on the table, but I wasn't hearing back. For the record, I never got the call from the place for the nerve conduction test. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if I'm still on a waiting list from back then or what, or if they just didn't call, which wouldn't surprise me. Oh my God, I've had so many issues with the Canadian medical system over the course of the last few years, and a lot of it is they don't call. They tell you that they will call you. You don't get given a number for them, and they just don't. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. So yeah, I saw my doctor, told her about it and everything, and she told me the wait time was a long time, and I said, hey, if my neck is the issue, and she was saying to me like, yeah, it looks like one of your shoulders is like higher than the other. I said, do you think I should see a physiotherapist? And she said, do you want to see a physiotherapist? I can give you a referral. Like, there's a physio that works in the building that we're in. And, you know, my doctor, she's retired now. I loved her. She was awesome. But she owned the building that we were in. She was like, there's a physio here. I can refer you. And yes. So I got a referral to the physio. I saw the physio like the next week. And I spent like 5 minutes with her, like just, you know, intake stuff where I'm like, you know, I have Ehlers-Danlos, because that was relevant to her. And she was like, oh, like hypermobility? I'm like, yeah, hypermobility. And I showed her a little bit of like what I can do with my fingers and my elbows. And I'm like, I could freak out so many people right now just bending back my thing. Close your eyes if you don't want to see it. Look at that. Look at that. I can pop up my elbows like 45 degrees, like just all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. Anyway, you can open your eyes again. So I said long story short, and I'm still on 2022. This might be a long vlog, everybody. So I'm a rambly guy and I have fun talking. Sorry. So it took her like 5 minutes before she just looked at me and she's like, your right shoulder's higher than your left shoulder. And then she starts feeling my shoulder and my neck and my back. And she's like, oh yeah, like this is like rock solid right here and right here. And she took me over to like a skeleton with all these nerves going through it, like a 3D diagram kind of thing. And she just started pointing to parts of the body and explaining to me like, okay, so you have nerves like getting clamped in here. This is called, I have it written down, cervical radicalopathy. Now or cervical radicalopathy is how she pronounced it, but I think she was Irish. So I don't know if that's a dialect or not. I don't know if it's just a dialect difference, but I call it cervical radicalopathy. That's not talking about your cervix. When I talked about this 2 years ago, some people were like, you can't have that. Men don't have a cervix. Dude, you have Google. Google cervical radicalopathy. It's your neck and shoulder. We're talking about the spine, not the cervix. Oh my God. People on the internet. Anyway, so she worked on me a little bit and she taught me a bunch of stretches that, like, I was already doing a lot of at-home stretches and stuff. I already had physical therapists from the community reaching out to me and saying, hey, you might have this. And they were right. So I was already doing some like at-home exercise stuff and it was getting a little bit better before I even saw her. But she helped a lot because I needed manual therapy. Like, look, you can do some of this at-home stuff, but when your neck and shoulder are as messed up as mine were, you need someone just literally working on you, you know? To get it to a point where I could maintain it. And I've maintained it pretty well, but I've had issues with it on and off. My neck is pretty sore right now. But some of that has to do with the 2024 stuff, which isn't neck problems, but it prevented me from working out for a while, which made my neck get worse. I got motion medicine, which is what they use at the clinic. It's kind of like an icy hot type stuff or a Tiger Balm type stuff, but like it does a million times better job of helping relax the muscles and let me work on it than anything else I've tried, Voltaren or whatever. So yeah, I went to her for a little while, got expensive, so I couldn't keep going. But it got me to a point where I was able to work again for a couple of years. Okay, sorry. I hope that didn't go too long. I'm gonna check. 13 minutes. Oh God, I'm sorry. Okay, no, 2024. We're gonna talk about 2024 health stuff now. Where was I on the notes? I haven't even been looking at them. Fred again, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, a few months ago, I don't even remember what month, June, July? It was in the summer. I passed out twice in 1 week at home. The first time I like fully lost consciousness, like fully passed out. I'd been feeling just rough for days. I'd gotten my wisdom teeth, my top, taken out like a month earlier. And ever since like a week after that, I would get pains in my throat, in front of my throat. And I would occasionally get these pressure pains right along like my waist, like the waistline of my pants. So like lower abdomen, upper pelvic area, I guess. It was like, you know, like where your belt line is on your pants. And like, it doesn't matter what I would wear, I would just get it sometimes. I was trying to figure out like a rhyme or reason behind what I'm eating. Could that be causing it? But no, it didn't really matter what I ate. And I cooked basically all my meals anyway. So that was weird. But then I had my girlfriend over for a couple weeks and we were hanging out one day. We were having breakfast together, totally normal breakfast for me. I made us some egg fried rice. And I just felt so unfocused and so rough, and it was like days of it. So I was like, I feel awful. So I stood up and I did standing cobra. It's like a yoga stretch where you put your hands on like your butt and you lean backwards while standing up, and it kind of like you're doing the limbo or something, and you hold that for for like 20 seconds or so, and then you get back upright. I've done it a million times. I did it, and when I went back upright, my hearing went out. Like it sounded like really muffled, and there was like a ringing tone to it. Sorry, I got startled a little there. I heard a weird noise, and I think it was Cebu doing his pterodactyl screeches at the door because he wants in. Noonie, wait, I must work. It's Cebu, one of my cats. Sorry, that actually really startled me. So I did the stretch. I got back up from it, and my hearing kind of went out, and I was like, whoa, my hearing's going out. That doesn't happen when I do this. And then like it got louder, like the ringing noise got louder. So I sat down in this chair. And things started to get like a little hazy. And my girlfriend's looking at me, and I just say to her, I think I'm going to pass out. And then I had this weird moment where like I was aware of what was going on, but I wasn't aware of what was going on. I knew that I was still sitting in this chair, right? And I was like just about here, like just kind of back a little bit. And I could tell I was facing that way. And I could see like the multicolors of like the sound foam around the studio. I could see like the windows over there. And I could see that there was the outline of my girlfriend, like right in front of me, like right in my face. And it felt like forever was going by, but she told me later it was like 30 seconds or something. I could tell she was in front of me, and I felt like I should say something because it's like she's staring at me. And it's kind of like when you're in a dream. If you've ever had that moment in a dream where like you feel like you should be saying something, but words aren't coming. Words weren't coming. I don't know what it was, but like after some time passed, she said, "Should I call 911?" And I said, "Yeah." And then, she called 911. I realized she was actually holding me to my chair. Like she had her hands on my shoulders because I was going to fall. And she helped me down to the floor, and I laid on the floor, and she let me know that like I passed out. I started slumping in my chair, and she had to grab me because I was going to like fall out of my chair and hit my head on the floor. It's a hardwood floor. It would have been dangerous. Thankfully, she took like 3 years of nursing, so she kind of had an idea of how to handle me. She laid me down. I couldn't get up for a while. Paramedics got here, and they took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was really low. And they sat me up, and my blood pressure was even lower. I ended up going to the hospital that day. They did a bunch of tests on me. I was at the hospital for ages. They referred me to like a urologist and like a bunch of people. Urologist was because like my bladder was unbelievably full, like way more full than it should be. And they're like, why can't you go? And I was like, I think it might just be shy bladder. And in retrospect, yeah, I think it was just shy bladder, because as soon as I was in a room alone, I was able to. But like they were worried about that. They were worried about the pains along the belt line. They were worried about a lot of things. Obviously they were worried about me passing out. So what was it? They go talk to your doctor about it, obviously. And like I have a new doctor now because my old one retired, and she set me up with a new one, so I still had to do intake, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that like I could go into every little detail of like how long it took to get a doctor's appointment and how not helpful they were the first time, and the pain of getting them all of my doctor's stuff, getting it all forwarded from the hospital to them. What matters is later the exact same week, my girlfriend went home, and I ended up passing out at home again, alone that time. But this time I didn't fully lose consciousness. I just came really close. It wasn't after a stretch. I was just sitting in my chair, like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, or something. I felt it coming on. My hearing started to go. I knew what was happening, so I just grabbed my phone off my table. I was right here. I laid down on the floor. I have like this soft footrest thing, so I could use that to cradle my neck, keep me safe. I laid down, and right away I called my mom and let her know, because she's got a spare key to my place. I let her know, like, this is what's happening. I'm passing out again. Can you come get me? And she's like, yes. So she just immediately was rushing into action. I called her first because I know that like I'm not good enough to go downstairs, and she's the only one with a spare key, so she's got to get over here. Right after that, I call 911, let them know, and they send a paramedic. Now, the paramedic ended up getting here before my mom did, so after they knocked on the door for like a couple minutes, and I yelled a couple times as loud as I could, my mom is coming, she has the key. because I didn't want them to bash down the door because I was worried because I have 2 cats and I don't want them to get outside. Then, like, if they bashed the door, what was I gonna do? Like, I guess, like, call well, I can't even call the landlord. The landlord lives in Jordan, like the country Jordan. I could call the real estate agent who kind of acts like my landlord and let her know, and I don't know, that's its own mess. So, like, literally what I did was I was like, okay, I just gotta go for it. So I just got onto my feet and I, like, ran down the stairs, both hands on the rail, and I unlocked the door and I opened the door, and then I immediately just sat right back down because I was like, I might pass out doing this. I don't know. I didn't, thankfully, although my ears were ringing again. I did manage to make it down there, which is nice. Paramedics took care of me. They took me, once again, they checked my blood pressure. Blood pressure was crap. They took me to the hospital. I was there for much longer that time, like 16 hours or something ridiculous like that. I don't know. I was live tweeting the whole thing. So, like, you guys can go back on my Twitter and find it if you really want to. I took pictures from the hospital both times, giving the thumbs up and saying, I'm not dead yet. You know, like the Ric Flair thing. Anyway, But that time I got a really good doctor. I got a really good doctor that time. It was actually my 3rd time at the hospital that week, but, like, the time I didn't talk about yet, I walked in and they were no help. Yeah, that 3rd time, the reason I was there so long is because I got a really good doctor who, like, spent a lot of time with me and really cared. He's the one who got me a referral to a GI. Or rather, he didn't get me the referral to the GI. He told me that is one of the only things they couldn't refer, that I need to get my doctor to refer me to a GI, and that was very important. So I did, and I do have that referral now. It's in March. I don't get to see a GI till March, but it's a nightmare. That's the wait times here, and that's not even to get scoped. That's to see a GI about booking getting scoped to see what's wrong with these pains. Man, they did refer me to a cardiologist. I actually got the exact same cardiologist as last time. It took months, but I did another stress test. This time it wasn't on a bike. It was on, like, an incline treadmill. I did 72-hour Holter monitor. In 2022, I did a 48-hour one. It's not that bad wearing the monitor, but, like, you can't shower with a heart monitor on. You just kind of have to, like, basically sponge bath yourself. Oh, I hate it. And I did, like, obviously blood work, but that was kind of general blood work, you know, just to make sure my numbers are good. And they were either then sulfite. It was something like that. They said the numbers on that were too high, like, 2 different times, but that they don't think that that's related to passing out, and they don't think that that's high enough to be a cause for concern. So I don't really know what that means. I'm not remembering. What was the other thing I had? I have it written down. Ultrasound. I had ultrasound done on my heart. Again, I had that in 2022 as well. And ECGs, but, like, they do ECGs on you, like, every time you're at the hospital and stuff. Oh, when I was at the hospital the first time, they also, like, scanned my brain? Or was it the second time? I don't remember if it was the first time or the second time, but they did the thing where they put you through, like, a scan thing for your brain after giving you, what was it? Okay, I might be conflating 2 different things. One of the times they give you the needle, or no, it was the IV. They give you the IV thing where it makes you feel a warm inside, and it's weird, and they're putting dyes in you so that they can scan you and see where the dyes go to make sure that you don't have, like, a blockage or something. They did that, and that was okay. And they also at some point did, like, a scan thing on my brain. I don't remember what the machine was. It wasn't an MRI, but it was something else. I don't remember the name. To make sure that there wasn't something wrong with my brain. You know what? That must have been the second time that I, like, passed out and had to go to the hospital, because it was the really good doctor who wanted me to do that. At least I think it was. I'm, like, pretty sure that it was. And he didn't see anything there because he wanted to make sure it wasn't, like, a neurological issue. I did all those tests, and earlier this month, November, I finally got my follow-up with the cardiologist, same cardiologist as last time, and he let me know the test came back okay. There's the weird sulfate number, but he doesn't think that's related to passing out. I just told him everything that happened, and he said it's a good thing that you have that that appointment with the GI because that's what he was going to recommend. He said that the gastro system or whatever is closely tied to the cardio system, to the heart. I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but he told me that if you have digestive issues and you have pains down there, and I did have some digestive issues at the time, but they kind of resolved pretty quickly, actually. But the pains didn't resolve as quickly, and they're not fully resolved now. They're not like nearly as common as they were back then, but I still get them a little bit. It's like pains and pressure, you know, it's weird. He said that that area is very closely tied to the heart, and that if you're having lots of problems down there, then your blood pressure can drop. And we know from the tests and everything that my blood pressure was getting really low. I was doing at-home blood pressure tests, and of course, when the paramedics checked my blood pressure both times, it had dropped severely, and that's why I was passing out, is blood pressure. He explained to me that when you're having problems there with digestion and pains and stuff, that that can cause blood pressure drops, and that could be enough for you to pass out. So he thinks that going to a GI is a good idea. He booked me another appointment to check up on me in 6 months, which is in May? I have it written on my phone. Whatever. It's written on my phone. It's in like 6 months or something. He booked me an appointment for that because he said he just wants to check up on me in 6 months. My heart's fine, but he wants to check up on me, which, man, that awesome specialist. I love that guy. I really love that guy. He's inquisitive, and he wanted to know what was going on, and he was very direct, and he could talk to you in English rather than just like, I had all these doctors saying syncope, and I had to ask them what's syncope, and they had to explain that's passing out, you know? Like, they're using all these medical terms as if I would know what they are, and like, I get this cardiologist, and he just talks to me like a human. I really appreciate it. So that's where we are right now. I still have those pains, but it's not nearly as common. I'll get them like once every week or two, and it won't be super severe. I haven't passed out since those times that I passed out, so that's good. The cardiologist let me know I'm good to work out again, and I'm good to do cardio again, which is good, because I haven't been working out as much as I want to. I haven't been able to do like my more high-intensity cardio that I would do, like high knees and going on my treadmill I have at home and stuff like that, because I just... My health wasn't good enough. I didn't know if I had a heart problem. They kept referring me to a cardiologist, so no one was giving me the thumbs up to work out because no one knew if it was safe. Now I know it's safe. So that's good, because I gained 15 pounds since September. It's the end of November. I hate that. I feel so uncomfortable, you know? So I want to drop some of that weight. I track all my food and everything, but man, when you're walking like 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day, that is not enough. I miss walking 10,000. That's the goal. But I've also not been walking as much because I've been working so much. I guess we got to get into money then, because I think this is basically the end of health stuff. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, that's everything for health stuff. How long have I been going? Half an hour? Oh, I was hoping that health would be like 8 minutes, 10 minutes, because I think money's the long part. Okay. All right. That's enough health stuff. Let's talk about money. Okay, I might refer back to my notes a lot on this one, because I got a lot of specific stuff written down. So earlier this month, Sabu had a bunch of vet bills. What was it? ECG. It was dental work. It was pain medication for the dental work. Not pain medication. It was calming medication for the dental work. The dental work was he had a little bit of gingivitis. He's a cat breed who tends to have tooth issues, unfortunately, and he needed a cleaning. Cat cleaning of teeth is very expensive because it's considered a surgery. You have to knock them out for it. So you got to pay for all those drugs. I had to pay for his blood work. I had to pay for all kinds of other tests because he also was getting checked for asthma, which thankfully he doesn't have. We thought we were going to have to put him on a kitty puffer, put a little kitty gas mask on him, give him a puffer. Thankfully, that is not the case. He's a little bit wheezy, but he doesn't have as squished of a face as a lot of cats of his breed have. He's either Himalayan or Persian. We're not totally sure. No one's totally sure. But he's Himalayan or Persian. And he doesn't have the most squished face of all time, but he's a little bit of a squish face boy. So they tend to have some breathing issues. I had to drop over $2,000. Anytime I bring up money, by the way, this whole video, it's gonna be Canadian money. So I know a lot of you are American. Last I checked, a Canadian dollar is worth like, or what a better way to put it, $1 American is $1.40 Canadian at the moment that I'm saying this. You can Google and see if it's changed. Do you hear that? That is either Sabu or Rocky scratching on the door to try and get my attention. Now, I just fed them before I started this vlog, so I know that they're not hungry. So let's just keep on going. They can leave me alone for a little bit. I can have a little bit of freedom to record a vlog for you guys. So I had to drop a little over $2K on all those vet bills, plus another $250 on my dentist bills, because I just went for my, twice a year I'd go for a cleaning and a checkup, and thankfully my teeth are all good. So cool. I forgot to say in the health section that I ended up having to go back into the oral surgeon a few times to have some more dental work done on where my teeth were removed. They had to shave down some bone and stuff, but that didn't cost anything, and it wasn't that big a deal, and it healed okay. So I didn't bring it up. Sorry, I forgot. Anyway, last month, I had to drop a little over $2,000 on helping my mom catch up with her bills. My mom can't work anymore. She hasn't been able to work for 10 years? About 10 years or so. And I send her money every single month. I also pay her rent for her and everything. Yeah, I take care of my mom. I'm a good son. I make money, take care of my mom. That's how it should be. That normally wouldn't be a problem. These are my obligations that I always take care of. If not for last year in September, so 2023, September, you may have heard about this before, YouTube changed their algorithm a lot. I guess they were trying to incentivize super long videos. That's why I've noticed this a lot on my page, and I've seen a lot of other people talk about it. You ever notice how on your homepage, especially if you're on desktop and not mobile, although I've seen it on mobile too, I guess, you ever notice how homepage has a lot more videos that will be like a one view stream VOD that's like 6 hours long from a channel with less than 50 subscribers and no custom thumbnail? It's a part of that algorithm change, which I'm not even fully against that, to be honest. I've actually found a few very fun channels through that are like tiny, tiny channels. I'm going to open the door because the scratching is never going to end. Hi, Rocky, how's it going? Come on in. Okay, Rocky's our guest on the stream now. Special guest co-host, Rocky. So that algorithm change happened. It affected a lot of YouTubers. I privately know a lot of YouTubers who are bigger than me who have lamented this change hurting their channel a lot. And as you can see, I mean, the Pokemon challenges a year ago were getting a minimum of 1,400 views. Now they get a minimum of 50,000? So about a third. I get about a third as many views. Oh, are you kidding me? He's immediately leaving. Cats, they just hate a closed door. Okay, no, he's coming back in. Hey, Rocky, how's it going? So, sorry, Rocky really derailed my train of thought here. So, yeah, I know, right? I don't even know if you heard his meow. A lot of YouTubers have privately lamented this change to me. I'm not fully against the change because it has the side effect of helping some very, very small YouTubers, although I'm probably in the minority that I actually click those like 0 view VODs because I'm interested in them. But it's incentivizing super, super, super long videos. That hurt a lot of people who do more like shorter edited videos like I do. But there's nothing I can really do about that. That's the ebbs and flow of YouTube. That's the natural flow of things. Look, the algorithm changes. It was an algorithm change that made me blow up in the first place 4 or 5 years ago now, back in 2019, late 2019, early 2020, something like that. So, it's what it is. Where was I on this thing? Yeah, so obviously getting your views cut in a third is kind of a big deal. Now, normally, Hi, Rocky. Normally that wouldn't really be a big deal for me because I like to have a lot of money banked just in case of a rainy day, you know? Someone's car explodes or someone needs help with something. I like being the one who can take care of my family and take care of my friends and stuff like that when an emergency comes up because I understand that when my YouTube channel blew up, I went from being below the poverty line to making really good money for a Canadian. What I used to do is when I first blew up and I started making really good money, I banked 100,000 Canadian dollars, and I was so proud of that because I used to like always just be in like $1,000 of debt at all times. You know, this money wasn't good. I banked $100,000. I'm sure it was probably a little bit more at its peak, but that's probably more money than anyone in my family has ever had banked, and I was so proud of that because like I finally had the money to really take care of the people in my life, and that like. You know, we didn't have to worry about money for like the first time ever, you know? But you know, that was a while ago now, you know? I lived most of my life below the poverty line and I saved up all that money because one, I never really had money to spend in the first place. I don't know, I'm not a big spender. And two, I wanted to have the money to take care of everybody. The problem is, I wasn't in charge of the money. I was in charge of making the money, you know? As soon as I started making like really good money, you know, we kept everything just the same, not spending any extra or anything. We paid off the debt right away and I just kept making the money. And I wanted to wait like a few months to make sure like, okay, is this just like a quick fad or am I actually just making good money from now on? And it turned out I was just making good money from then on. Even as views went down over time as it wasn't as trendy anymore, I still made really good money and I still do make good money. But you know, 2020, a pandemic happened, and the economy, if you thought the economy got bad in other places, you should have seen what happened to Canada. We'll get into it later. But yeah, I wasn't in charge of the money. I was in charge of making the money. Like once the money was really good and we knew it was staying really good, I got a townhouse for my mom so she didn't need to live in a one-bedroom or, well, a one-room apartment. I got a nice little townhouse for her. I didn't buy it or anything. I don't have that kind of money. Ugh, buying property in Canada is insane. But I was able to rent her a place, which is nice. And yeah, just send her money every month, help take care of her because her payments from her divorce just kept going down and down. So I wanted to make sure that everybody in the family's taken care of and everything. My wife at the time, I let her know, hey, you know, you're always frustrated with your job, quit your job. Like the money it makes is negligible compared to what I make now. You don't need to work anymore. Do what you want to do. So she quit her job and I took care of everything. I took care of all the money, just making all the money. I wasn't in charge of the accounts though. Yeah, I got my password to my personal bank account, obviously, but I wasn't in charge of all the accounts or the business account or whatever. And I wasn't in charge of the money because I had a family member who will remain completely anonymous in my life, who had a background in finance and assured me that they will take care of that because they have experience with that and everything. And I put a lot of trust in them because I had no reason not to. It's family. I didn't learn until, I guess it would have been like August, September of 2023. Hi, Rocky. August or September of 2023, when I got a hold of all the accounts. Whoa, there's not $100,000 in here anymore. There's like 20,000. And it seems, from my calculation, like it's going down. I started to realize that the money was not spent, was not being taken care of very well. Ooh, hi. He might be on camera. Sorry, he's got big razor claws and he hopped up on my lap to get up on the table first. Hi, Rocky. How's it going? Hi, you want me to bring your chair over? Yeah, I can bring it over. There. He wanted me to bring his throne over next to me so that he could be within petting range. All right, I'll pet him while I talk. It was not being taken care of like how I was told it was being taken care of. It was not as good as I was being told that it was. I was hearing a whole lot of, don't worry, no, it all still looks good, don't worry. And then I start going back and realizing that a lot was being spent that I didn't know about. And it was being mismanaged badly. As soon as I took over, a lot less money was getting spent and everything. Now look, I'm not dumb. I know that now that I've brought up that someone was not careful with the money, there's going to be a lot of speculation. I will remind that I am still a real human being somewhere else on the planet, and that you don't know every little thing about my personal life just because you may have watched a lot of the show. You're not going to be able to guess the person. I don't want you to be able to guess the person. It wasn't me. It wasn't Mum. I don't really hold any blame even against the person, even though they were being negligent. I don't really hold any blame against the person, because whatever, it's water under the bridge. There's no point in holding a grudge about it. I wish I had been warned ahead of time, but it is what it is. You have to roll with the punches of life sometimes. There's no use losing all your hair about it now. I've lost plenty of hair. Yeah. So for the last year now, I've been trying to work a lot extra, really take care of the money, be very careful with spending, but sometimes bills are outside of your hands, you know? Mum's divorce payments have gone down, so she needs a little bit more help every month than she used to. Rent has gone up. Rent has really gone up. I don't expect any of you to know about the issues of Canada. It's not the most interesting country, let alone the rent issues of Ontario, or Canada as a whole, really. But if you've ever heard of the Canadian housing crisis, you'll know it's not good here, and it's gotten a lot worse since 2020. In the last 2 years, since 2022, the average rent price in Canada has gone up 25%. I want you to think about what would happen to you if your rent went up 25%, but your income went down because your views got cut down to 1/3 of what they used to be. Yikes. So it hasn't been easy. It has not been easy, but I've been working extra, which is mean I haven't been able to work out as much and walk as much and whatever. A lot of sleepless nights of working, but it is what it is. Again, as long as it's within my control, then I try not to stress out too much. I just work. I just, nose to the grindstone. That's how I've always been with this stuff. Let me just look at my notes real quick and make sure that there isn't anything really, really obvious that I'm missing. Oh yeah, something I should have brought up before. Look, I know that even if I say don't speculate, some of you are going to speculate, no matter what. I get it. I'm not trying to control you or anything. What I will ask is, just out of respect for me, can you please not do it in my comment section? Like, you wouldn't speculate about this stuff to my face, right? I'm not like most YouTubers who avoid their comment section like the plague because they hate their community, or okay, most of them don't hate their community. Most of them don't like the minority of jerks in the community who are just awful about everything. I get it. I have them too. Everybody does. But honestly, I like reading my comments. I read my comments a lot. So if you're speculating about this stuff, I'm going to see it. Can you not speculate about my personal business in front of my face? I know some people are going to be like, well, you're talking about it. Yeah, well, I said, how about you don't speculate about the stuff that is private, that you aren't going to know anything about? If you do speculate it, how about you do it in your friend group or on your own Discord or whatever? Just don't do it in my comment section, dude. Have a little bit of respect. Come on, I'm reading this. Anyway, let me check the thing. Oh, now Sabu is threatening to jump up on the table. I think we're going to have a lot of cat intrusions today. That's okay. I'm giving Rocky a little bit of a pep. So yeah, rent prices across Canada have gone up 25% in the last 2 years. That's not the only thing that's gone up in price, of course. Groceries, cat food. I'll get into that because I wrote down some numbers here. I had to do some Googling for this. So this one blew my mind. Let me get my glasses on so I can see these notes a little better. This blew my mind. You can Google this too, by the way. This is just public information. I found it on Google. You'll find it in 2 seconds too, I was looking up Canadian housing prices and inflation and stuff. So check this out. The average Canadian home costs $750,000. That's the average Canadian home. That's not including mansions and stuff. I'm talking regular homes. Here in Ontario, I had to look this up too. Here in Ontario, it's much higher. It's $878,000 as the average. That means the average Canadian cannot ever afford to buy a home. Not just the average Canadian, but I looked this up too. The top 10% earners of Canadians earn $175,000 a year. That means the average top 10% Canadian cannot afford a house. 90% minimum Canadians will never be able to afford a house, at the current prices at least. That's rough. Maybe you could buy a condo? Maybe? Maybe you could buy a townhouse, but not a house. Rent is higher than mortgage too. That's the brutal part. So if you could save up enough to buy a house, then it would be cheaper than renting, but you're stuck renting forever because how you ever going to save up that money? Yeah, so the average required income to purchase the average Canadian home is $180,000 a year. That'd be like, how you'd purchase it. Obviously, it's not that's not the price. That's like for down payment. You'd need to be making that much a year for a bank to give you a mortgage. That's higher in Ontario. It'd probably be more like $200,000 a year. I don't make half of that. I make really good money. I don't make half of that. Those numbers are ludicrous. Are you kidding me? I'm not top 10%. That's insane. Who is evidently less than 10% of Canadians? That's insane. I don't own a house. I don't own any house. I just rent a townhouse, or a duplex, I guess you would call it. And I rent a townhouse for my mom, which that's more of like a traditional townhouse, Neither is big. They're both pretty small, but it's better than like a 2-bedroom apartment. I guess my mom's place isn't really better than a 2-bedroom apartment, but it's got a door that goes outside rather than to a hallway. At least you don't need an elevator, I guess. Yeah, like most Canadians, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to afford a house in Canada. It's not just housing, though. Like, grocery prices are insane. Cat food prices, I looked this up because cat food prices have gone up so much, so I Googled it. I was trying to figure out, like, how much has it gone up? 13% a year since 2020. I got 2 cats. They eat a lot of food. I'm petting one right now. Hi, Rocky. They eat a lot of food. Cat food prices have gone up 13% a year. You can't not feed your cats, obviously. So it's just one of those prices you just have to pay. It's like groceries. I cook all my own food, and groceries still cost an absolute fortune. It is what it is. These are things you can't avoid. You can't not eat. You can't not feed your family. You can't not pay rent. Man, I got rent control on my place too. So like it can only go up a certain amount per year. So it hasn't gone up as much as the average in these areas. So if I were to like stop living here, or if my mom were to stop living at her place and we got them a new place, it would be so much more expensive. Like if she were to get her townhouse today, fresh, it would be like $800 more than what she's actually paying right now, or what I'm paying for her right now, just because the average rent price has gone up so much. But landlords can't raise the rent the full amount every year if someone is still living there. We're lucky that we have good landlords who don't try and kick us out to raise the rent, because a lot of landlords do that. They find excuses to try and kick you out so that they can raise the rent price to whatever the market average is now. Scummy, but luckily we have a couple of good landlords. Whew. So yeah, between the constant raise of the cost of living, my savings getting depleted without my knowledge, the algorithm change, money is now bad enough that I'm living check to check again. As I'm recording this vlog, I see I don't have the email yet. I'm waiting for the email from YouTube, or rather from my partner network, Ritual. I'm waiting for the email that tells me that I've gotten paid, because it's the 28th, so I should be getting paid today. Because my accountant told me they can't run payroll on my business until the money comes in. because there's not enough money in there to run payroll, which is how I get paid because, I have a corporation, I have a business. So it's not like money I make automatically goes to me, it goes to the business, and then I take a percentage of that money. I take a certain amount of that money. That's how businesses work, I'm on payroll for my business, and the payroll has to go down and down and down. We're at the point now where even if I sent all of my personal money to the business account, it wouldn't be able to run payroll until this payment comes in. So I'm waiting on it. I've done sponsorships and everything, which help, but the sponsor money, some sponsors don't pay you for 30 days, some sponsors don't pay you for 60 days, so I'm still waiting on some sponsorship money too. So a lot of these payments come in very late. I got no control over that. It's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Them's the rules. I can't force anyone to do anything, It's at the point where if things don't get better in, I don't know, a couple months, then I think I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and my mom is gonna have to move in with me. Now I love my mom to death. You know that. Anytime you've ever heard me talk about my mom, I have a great relationship with my mom. Love her. She's always been my absolute biggest supporter. She always knew I was going to blow up on YouTube from when I started as a teenager, even though YouTube was so different back then. You couldn't get paid in gaming stuff when I first started on YouTube, and yet she always thought that this is the career for me. She still, every time I see her, she says that she thinks that I'm going to blow up again and it's going to be even bigger than last time, and she really believes it. She's always been someone who says it like it is. She doesn't just, gas you up. She really means it. I love her to death. And I'm going to take care of her no matter what. So if I can't afford her place, then she moves in with me. There's no way I'm going to have her be in any worse living situation than living with me. But that comes with its own struggles. She's got 2 cats. I've got 2 cats. It's hard to introduce cats to each other like that. There's going to be cat wars around the house, and I'm going to have a loss of privacy, of course. I don't live in a really big place. I do have a spare bedroom, though, so at least she gets her own bed and everything in her own bedroom. But, it's going to be kind of cramped. It's not going to be the easiest thing. It's not the end of the world, but it's not the easiest situation, and it will get in the way of me being able to work more. That's difficult. If you followed me for a really long time and you've watched all my old vlogs and you know about my life, you know about when we used to live in that 1-room apartment together. And I mean 1 room and a bathroom. It's smaller than a hotel room. My bed's foot was up against the fridge and my mom's bed was right next to mine. And just to the right of my bed was my computer desk, and she used a TV table for her laptop, and then there's a wall. So it was small. Lived there with her for a whole year. She lived there for a few years until I blew up and had the money to get her out of there. And it's pretty much the first thing I did when I blew up and the money wasn't stopping was get her a new place. So we got along great, but there's struggles, obviously. It's not the easiest thing. And when I moved out, I moved in with my then wife, who, or I guess then she would have been girlfriend, but whatever. So it wasn't until early this year that I finally got to live alone for the first time, and I really like it. I like the privacy. I like being able to really make my own schedule fully, I like how much time I can dedicate to work and how much flexibility I get in my schedule living alone. The peace and quiet. I don't bring this up very often, but I'm sure some of you can guess that, yeah, I'm autistic, and I really do like the peace and quiet because I love people. I love being social with people, but I need my alone time to recharge, and that's not so easy to do when you live with someone. I feel like for my development as a person and just for my quality of living, it is really important that I learn to live alone for a while, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I would hate to have that cut really short, because my mom has to move in, but if she has to move in, she has to move in, and that's just how it is. I'm not gonna leave her out, So that's just what it is. I've tried taking more sponsorships, but I don't get as many sponsorship offers as I used to, obviously. I'm not as big as I used to be. That's normal. That's okay. I never lived assuming I was always gonna get that many views. I'm not crazy. But anytime I get a sponsorship that I believe in, I take that, Factor Meals. really good food. I actually really enjoy that service, which is why you can tell my sponsorships are really genuine. Because, yeah, man, that's an awesome sponsorship that I like working with them. It's a fun advert to make. The food is really good. I like that service. I don't subscribe to that service myself because that's money that I don't want to spend and I like to cook. But they sent me meals to test it, and yeah, it's everything is that it's cracked up to be, you know? So I'm happy to do those sponsorships with Factor Meals. I got signed up with a management company that helps set me up with sponsors, and I love working with them so far. They've definitely helped me make more money, but, you know, again, they can only find me sponsorships if sponsors want to work with me, and I'm not as big as I used to be, so it's only a little bit more money here and there. That's nothing against the management company. They rock. I really enjoy them, actually. They really do genuinely look out for me and have my best interest at heart, which I appreciate, because not everybody who works with YouTubers is like that. You can tell that this is a company run by YouTubers, because they care and they get it. A lot of people try to work with YouTubers, but they don't get it because they don't work with YouTube. Now Sabu's on my desk trying to open my blinds. Here, a suit. Here, Numi, I'll open the blinds. There you go. Sorry, he wants to hang out by the open window. Where am I in my notes? Where am I in my notes? I feel like I've said most of what I want to say there. Yeah, I'm 32. I kind of quite like that I'm finally living alone, not with someone else. Right, the next section. Anytime you talk about money on the internet, there's a litany of questions you get, usually put to you in a little bit of a derogatory way, but I'll try my best to not be too sensitive about it, and I will simply answer the questions ahead of time that I know that I'll get, because I get them anytime money comes up, and any YouTuber gets them anytime money comes up. So I got my notes here. I'm going to try and address some of these ahead of time, although I know I won't get all of them. Maybe I can address some of them in the comments if people say them, and you're nice about it, because, again, I'm a real person. Come on. Okay. First of all, some people are going to say either get a day job or get a real job. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not some tiny YouTuber who is making, like, below minimum wage like I used to. That's not the problem here. It's not that I can't afford paying two different people's rent and paying for two different people's livings. And all these vet bills and whatever, because I'm doing a job stubbornly that isn't paying as much as a day job would. That's not my situation at all. I'm getting paid more than most Canadians. I'm not in the top 10%, but I'm at least in the top 20%, probably. I guess I haven't Googled that to find out. But I do make good money. I make the kind of money where you would probably have to get a proper career job and work it for at least 5 years. I don't have a post-secondary education. I was too broke to go to college or university. So any job that I could just go get would, one, take months to get, and two, would probably just be some entry-level, like, fast food job or something minimum wage, and minimum wage is not enough to afford rent of a new place, let alone my place, like, or mine and my mom's. Oh my god. So that doesn't make any sense. The problem isn't that I make so little money. The problem is that I make good money, but I have really high costs. Part of that is Canada, part of that is I pay for two people's livings. So just getting a new job and doing that instead would make the problem worse. And if I were, then I wouldn't be able to afford this place or her place. And if you mean get a day job on top of YouTube, that also doesn't make sense, because I would have to take so much time away from YouTube that I would make less money with whatever the job would be. So that's not an option. I can't get an extra job or a new job to make more money that would make less money. Some people say take more sponsorships. Yeah, I am. You guys have already seen the Factor Meals ones, and I'm really proud of those. And trust me, my managers come to me anytime I get any offer. I was offered one that I was actually really interested in doing the other month. I won't say the company, I guess, but I couldn't take it because they were offering it to me, but their service wasn't in Canada. And I have a rule. I will only take the sponsorship if I actually believe in the product. And I can't do that if I can't test the product, you know? It was a money management app, and it looks really good. I like the idea of it. I've had people tell me that they use it and that they really swear by it. So I believe in it in that way, but it's only in the United States. I can't download that on my phone and actually use it myself. I'm not willing to lie to you guys and do this whole sponsorship and be like, oh yeah, I love this thing. I use it all the time. If I can't use it, it's not in Canada. So I had to turn down some good money to not do that sponsorship. And I'm always going to get people who say, hi, Noonie. I'm always going to get people who say, just take that bag. We know that you don't have to mean every single thing in every single sponsorship. It means something to me, all right? I gotta live with me and I gotta live with my conscience. So it means something to me. I'm not gonna take a sponsorship in which I have to lie. That's a rule. It's a rule for me. It's not a rule on YouTube. It's a rule for me. People will say, if it's so expensive in Canada, just move out of Canada. Dude, easier said than done. Do you know how hard it is to immigrate to another country? That is not an easy process. Like, I'm in Canada. Like, it's got to be the easiest country to move from Canada to America, right? We speak the same language. We use the same measurements for half of stuff, not all of stuff. Like, it's so much is similar, so much. Like, our education systems, like, if you have a degree here, you can port most of that over there, unless it's like law. We have a pretty different law system from you guys. I say you guys because most of you are American, not all of you. But, like, it's hard enough to immigrate to another country, let alone immigrating with your family. Because if I'm moving, I'm bringing my mom with me. I'm not leaving her out high and dry, you know? I'm not leaving her out alone to take care of herself when she's already having a rough time. I've been trying to move to America for ages, but I've never had an opportunity because there was something happened in 2020 that kind of shut the world down. So that made it very hard for a long time. Immigration in the United States pretty much shut down from that. I have a friend who, her husband moved into the United States from the United Kingdom, and it took him like 2 years before he was allowed to work because they were so backed up on immigration. It was brutal. Even though, like, he's working now, he's got no problem working, he's able-bodied, and he's well-educated, and he's a great guy, he's happy to work. By all means, he could have worked. They just didn't let him for ages because the immigration process was so backed up in Georgia. It was crazy. I'm happy that he's finally like proper immigrated and able to work now because good on him. He's wanted to move there for ages. I don't even think America's taking new immigrants in 2020 or until 2025. I think they're at their quota for the year. I could be wrong. Some people of an older persuasion might say that I am e-begging. That was a term that used to get used a lot. Not to me specifically, although I'm sure people have called me that. I mean, just on the internet in general, everyone, if you had, first year of Patreon existing, simply having a Patreon, you would get called an e-beggar. I thank Twitch TV, actually, for why no one really gets called that anymore. They kind of brought in a tipping culture with streamers. And I honestly think that that's done a lot to change how people look at YouTubers and streamers. That and just that, like, YouTuber is looked at more as a career now. I mean, it's the #1 career kids say that they want to be when they grow up as a YouTuber. That's not how it was when I started YouTube. When I started YouTube, you couldn't get paid doing gaming stuff. It wasn't allowed yet. And in the early years, once they made it allowed, it's only allowed through, like, multi-channel networks who would take half your money. It was brutal. Anyway, where was I in my notes? Yeah, I've always been, so this is not e-begging. I reject the notion. If you've been here for a long time, some of you have been watching me since I was a teenager, okay? I'm 32 now. You guys have seen me when I lost my house. You guys have seen me through horrible financial issues, and I didn't beg then, and I'm not gonna beg now. I'm gonna say the same thing I've always said. You take care of you and yours before you take care of me and mine. I have a tip jar in the description of all of my videos and all of my streams. I have a Patreon in the description of all of my videos and all my streams. You know where that stuff is. If you want to send money, send money. It's up to you. But I'm not going to beg for it. I'm not going to tell you that you have to. I'm not going to paywall my content. I'm not going to do anything like that. Because at the end of the day, I like when my show is free. I don't think that not having money or not being willing to spend money or not wanting to spend money or whatever should in any way make my show less fun to watch. That sucks. I want this to be free forever because I used to be poor. And I got so much enjoyment out of Let's Play shows and stuff like that as a form of entertainment I could watch while being totally broke. I refuse to paywall my stuff. I don't like that, you know? I'm not gonna beg, just don't wanna. You take care of you and yours. If you need the money more than I need the money, then take care of yourself. And if I need the money more, still take care of yourself. If you're a millionaire watching this and you don't want to donate, don't donate. It's as simple as that. Only do it if you actually want to do it. I guess I could add more value to my Patreon. That's something I should probably do, you know? Because right now it's basically just a tip jar. Because for years I did give unique things to it, but everyone would always just tell me, no, it's okay, you don't need to give me the things, I'm just here to support you. And I realized that like 99% of people who are there are just there to support me, and I love that. But that also means that like, you know, look at my newest post on Patreon. I think my newest post was 2020, and it was when everything went down, and my money was good by then, so I just put out a post and said, hey everybody, I know that like living is tough right now because of the lockdowns. Just if you're having any money issues, just stop pledging to me. I understand. Like it's totally okay. I don't need the money. I'll be okay. And I think that was my most recent post on there because I mean it. Anyway, I guess I should add some value. I don't know. I refuse to paywall anything. I did like vlogs over there for a while that were only on there. I didn't really feel great about that, but like no one watched them anyway. And so like, what was the point? Like 5 people would watch them. Like I may as well just put them on YouTube. Then I'd make some money off the ad values on it. And by money, I mean like $20. $20 for hours and hours of work. So yeah, it's, I guess if you guys have suggestions on things I could do on my Patreon that would add some value, sure, lay them on me. And if I like the ideas, I'll do them. But I no paywalling, just no paywalling. I don't want to paywall my videos or anything like that. That's not fun, you know? Last, some people will say, work more. Dude, I have been. I've been working so much extra the last year, but I have the kind of job where working extra doesn't just directly translate into more money, you know? And I don't get an hourly wage or anything. A video that might make me $800 this month might make me $1,000 next month, just because YouTube got paid more money from advertisers that month, so they have more money to go around and there's more ad value. I have no control over that. I don't even have knowledge of that. They don't tell you these things. It's just you can see what the ad value is today. You don't know what it's going to be in the future. The only thing you do know is January pays less than December. That happens basically every year. So I'm going to try and get extra videos up in December to make up for how I'm going to make less money in January for the same amount of videos. Same amount of work, same amount of videos, less pay. It's just how it is sometimes. You don't have any control over that on YouTube. All I can do is work lots and hope for the best. I've been streaming a lot more when I can, but that gets in the way of the health, the walking, the working out. And my streams don't pay me like a lot of modern streamers get paid. You watch a lot of other streamers and they have a different feel to their streams, you know? They're more modern streamers. They get a lot of donations. They're reading a lot of things or have text-to-speech. They're getting a lot of Twitch subscriptions or YouTube memberships. Same thing. Super chats if they stream on YouTube. Stuff like that. Where they don't really read their chat, but they read all their super chats. I'm not like that. My streams feel old school because they are. My streams predate Twitch TV existing. I used to stream on Ustream and Justin TV back in the olden days. I treat it more like a Let's Play show. Yeah, some people subscribe and some people donate, and I really appreciate it, and I read the messages, but I don't really tell people, hey everybody, it's subscriber month, do all the sub trains or whatever. Hey everybody, here's the monthly thingy thing, donate $400 and I'll play all these things that you want me to play. I don't really do those things. I like it more focused on the game and the show and hanging out and having fun. maybe I've got to start doing some kind of donation incentive stuff like that, but that's not really the culture of my streams, and so people don't really donate a whole lot. And that's okay. I understand that. People used to donate more back when I was broke. I love it. I love that they did that. And I also love that they stopped donating so much once I wasn't broke, because I didn't need it as much. That's how it is, and that's kind of how it should be, honestly, on some level. At least for me and my show. That people donate less when I really don't need the money so much. I'm okay with that. That seems completely fair to me. So yeah, I have been working a lot more, but that doesn't always directly translate to more money. It's unfortunate, but that's just, that's the job. Man, what else? I guess that's kind of it with the money stuff. What do I even have here? Yeah, it's not a fun subject, but that's life, and life is hectic, and I gotta let you know, because that's always what I've done. I haven't let you in on life as much over the last 5 years, outside of some health stuff here and there, and some outros and some pre-streams, but I miss that. I miss letting you in on my life more, because I've always been a pretty public guy, and that's always how the show has been. I know some of you only came from the Pokemon challenges, and you don't know the olden days and everything, where I do the vlogs all the time and really let you know what's going on in my life and everything, but I like doing that. It's important to me. So if you have money to throw around and you want to help, there's the tip jar in the comments. There's Patreon. There's super chats and super thanks. Super chat is like the tip in the chat when I'm live streaming or doing a premiere on YouTube. Super thanks is where you leave a tip in a YouTube comment. You can do that now. That's a thing. There's some people send money directly on PayPal. People know my PayPal business, or my PayPal email, because it's my business email or whatever, Madrot567 Gmail, but you can use Patreon or Tipjar or whatever, it doesn't matter. Subscribe on Twitch, that helps too, because, you get paid half of that and whatever. Just whatever you want to do. If you want to do it, I appreciate it. And if you don't feel bad if you don't or you can't. It's okay. No matter what, I'll survive. I'm not going to go starving to death or anything like that. If Mom needs to move in, it's not the end of the world. It will make work more difficult, and it's going to make life more difficult, and things might have to change a lot. But that's not the end of the world. I'm going to survive. I've been through worse. Genuinely, I've been through much worse in my life than that. So no matter what, I think I will be okay. I'm going to just really work my butt off and see what I can do, So try not to get too down about it. Try not to be too doom and gloom, because I'm not. I'm able to laugh about this stuff. Life is what it is. You roll with the punches. I've always rolled with the punches, For what it's worth, even in spite of the money stuff, my personal life has been a lot healthier and happier the last half a year than it has been in a long time. And I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for this little period of my life where I got to live alone, even if it's the only period of my life where I ever get to live alone, I know that there's a very good chance that if this 6 months or so was the only time I got to live alone, then that's what it is. It's okay. It's what it is. I can be happy with that. Anyway, we get to move on to the funner stuff now. That's enough with the health. That's enough with the money. That's enough with the sad stuff. Let's talk about show updates. How long have I even been going? An hour and 12. I was worried I was at 2 hours by this point. Show updates, everybody. This is the stuff that you get to look forward to. First and foremost, I want to start streaming recording sessions of doing Bethesda challenges. I figure, look, with all this extra work I gotta do, I haven't been able to do Bethesda challenges as much as I'd like to. And I really like doing those, the Fallout games, the Elder Scrolls games. They're really fun change of pace. I really like, I don't know, it's a totally different kind of game that I can play. I'm a really big fan of those games. I've been playing them for ages and ages. I've been playing Fallout since before, my first ever Let's Play when I was a 17-year-old on YouTube was Fallout 1. I love Fallout games. I love Bethesda games, not just like the old Interplay ones, although I love Fallout 1 and 2 so much. I also love the Bethesda ones, they're cool too. I love Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and Oblivion, and what little I've played of Morrowind is really good, but I really gotta play more, and Daggerfall is really good. So I got to start doing challenges in these games again, but I haven't had time because I got to do the Pokemon challenges, and bills gotta get paid. So I figured, let's kill two birds with one stone. I've been streaming more anyway. Let's stream some sessions of Bethesda challenges. I don't stream my Pokemon challenges because it's not really it's not conducive for that. When I record my Pokemon challenges, I do it over the course of 5 to 7 days in lots of little sessions where I'm getting up and I'm walking and I'm cooking food and I'm researching and stuff. Wouldn't make for good streams. The Bethesda ones, though, what I usually do is I take 2 or 3 days and I will sit down for like 4 hours or 3 hours or something and just play a huge chunk of it. And I'll be taking little breaks to write script and stuff, but I'm just recording huge chunks and writing huge chunks, and I get it done more like that. And I realized, not when I say sitting down for 4 hours, I don't mean literally sitting for 4 hours. I'll stand up and like stretch out, but like I'm working for 4 hours straight, and then I'll go get some food or something. That's a lot better for streaming. Like I could stream those sessions and then, it's not the best spectator sport. I'm still like tabbing out and writing script and stuff often, whatever. But it is what it is. It could be a fun little side thing I could do that you could have some fun watching and have some fun along with me. We might create some funny live moments that way that we can put in the video at the end. The video in the end will still be the same old MDB challenge style as always, where, it's not going to have like a face cam or anything. It's going to be the same way it used to be. It'll be edited the exact same style and everything, but maybe with a few more gags where I put the live mic in there to show you something funny that happened in the live reaction to it. And it'll be like how the Bethesda ones have always been, where I do funny little editing gags for you guys. If you only watch the Pokemon challenges, you don't really know about my editing gags because I don't really get any opportunities to do them in the Pokemon challenges. But in the Bethesda ones, Elder Scrolls and Fallout, I do little editing gags whenever I can because the game gives me material to work with, especially in the Oblivion challenges. Oh, it never stops giving me material, so many gags. Like when Pete, the kid from the Boomers, is trying to teach me history, and I put on the music from Kirby's Air Ride, and I'm like pushing him around and trying to complete the quest and everything. Oh, so many good ones. So many good gags. Oh, when I was diving down to get the bomber plane from the bottom of Lake Mead, and I'm playing like the old Sonic drowning music. What was that quote from Oblivion? So far, so good. You know that one. Sorry, just so many good moments. I really like those runs, and I've missed doing them, so I want to start streaming those again. So you can look forward to that. In fact, if you're watching this vlog later today, I will be streaming on YouTube, on this YouTube channel. I'll be streaming Fallout New Vegas with only baseball bats, because that looks really fun. So you can come in and hang out with me and yell at me when I do stupid things. Okay, what else I wrote down? Okay, so I got a list here. A series that I am going to be bringing back. Number 1, Haven and Hearth, because I've been playing a lot of that recently. The new world just came out. It just got put on Steam for the first time in 11 or 12 years. It's now on Steam. I've been playing it a lot with my community over on the Discord. We've been having a lot of fun, and it's going great. So I want to get back to doing Haven and Hearth videos, Haven and Hearth tutorials, stuff like that, because it's a very fun, community-based, free MMO where you only occasionally get waylaid by jerks who have played the game for 10 plus years and hate life. I'm going to be bringing back my Deus Ex series, the Deus Ex, I think it was Human Revolution, that I was doing with What a Geek years ago. I finally have the game fixed. It was busted for ages, but I found a patch, like a fan patch that fixed it, and I still have the old save game. I can't wait to get back to that. The playthrough is so funny. I love throwing vending machines at people. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon post-game. We're going to get back to that because I've been wanting to do the post-game in that forever. And then once we get that done, we can go do the next Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game because those are really fun. I really liked that Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team. That was really good. Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy Color. The Game Boy Color game. I really like that one. I want to get back to streaming that. And Final Fantasy Tactics A2. That's one of those series I did a little bit of here and there over the years. I love that game. I want to get back to that as like a chill side thing to do. New series that I want to do. Pokemon, I want to do a Let's Play of Pokemon Sun with the crew, That'll be So fun. I can get the crew together, do some of that, like how we do Mario Party and how we did Pokemon Platinum and how we did Pokemon X. I want to do Pokemon Sun because I streamed a little bit of it many years ago, but I didn't get super far. So I want to do a full Let's Play of it. That'll be a fun time. Pokemon Stadium 2. It's about time I finally get around to it. I don't want to say when, I don't want to say how soon, but I am going to get around to it. It's going to be a fun time. Even if it's a really, really hard game, it's way harder than Stadium 1. I want to do more Pokemon spin-offs, like Pokemon Conquest, which is in a genre of game I really like. That kind of like turn-based, tile-based RPG strategy kind of game, like Fire Emblem or Advanced Wars or Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre. These are all games I love. So yeah, a Pokemon Conquest, I bet you I'd really like that game. So I got to play that on the show. And more Crusader Kings 3. A lot of you guys found me through Crusader Kings 2 or Crusader Kings 3. I had so many people tell me that I taught you the game. I'm very proud of that. I'm really happy I had the privilege of teaching you the game. And so many people have told me that they've tried watching other people's playthroughs, but they're too dry, or they're too this, or they're too that, and they like my balance of goofy but knowledgeable but not too serious but kind of serious, and there's the highs and the lows, and you roll with the punches and you don't just reload after everything, and at the end there's usually some patch that breaks your save game and you all laugh about it. Well, you know what? Crusader Kings 3 got an update, so now you can play as a landless character, as a nomad, as an adventurer or a merchant or a bandit or something like that. And I haven't played that patch yet, but it looks really fun. I think I'm going to have to make a series like that. That sounds like a really fun time. And for stuff that I'm continuing that's going on literally right now, obviously, RimWorld, my New Vegas playthrough, Project Zomboid, Raft, Harvest Moon. I'm probably forgetting some stuff. Pokemon, what was it? Pokerogue. Pokerogue has been so fun. Oh my god, that's a fun game. I've been really enjoying streaming that for you guys. It seems like you guys have really enjoyed watching it as well. I've had a lot of you tell me that you've started playing Pokerogue because of it, because that's a free game you can just play on browser. You can even play that on your phone if you want to. It's just a website. You just Google Pokerogue and you'll find it. It's a fun time. Yeah. And I want to do these vlogs more often because I do have a lot of fun recording these. And I want to, this is an idea I've pitched a few times. I think I finally want to get around to it. Hi, Rocky. I finally want to get around to it. It's playing, or rather not playing, it's recording me sitting down and talking about every Pokemon that's ever existed. So I would start from the first Pokemon in the Pokédex, Generation 1, and go to the end and talk about every Pokemon, my thoughts on it, what I think of the design, what do I think of the Pokemon, what do I think of the stats, do I have any fun memories or stories with it, stuff like that. And I would, each video would be one generation. So I started Gen 1, then Gen 2, then Gen 3, in episode 1, we have Bulbapedia open, we're on Bulbasaur, and I talk about all of them until I'm at, what's the last one, Mewtwo? And then, we go to the next Pokédex, where's the Johto, and it starts with, I think, Chikorita, and goes to Celebi? I don't remember which one's the last one in the Johto dex. It's either Celebi or Lugia, probably. But yeah, that's how I would do it. Might be a little long, probably going to be very fun. A lot of people have told me that you'd be interested in watching that. I think I want to do that. Sounds like a fun time. And that's the end of my notes. That's the last note I've got here. How long have I been going? An hour and 22, almost an hour and 23, maybe a little bit less. I got like a couple little things to cut when I blanked a couple times, but like for the most part, I don't think I really have much to cut out. This will be a quick edit. Slap some music on it, edit a couple little parts where I went kind of quiet, throw it up on YouTube as fast as I can while I'm cooking some egg fried rice to eat, and then I can stream the Fallout. That seems like a fun work day. I'll have to catch up on Pokemon tomorrow, but it is what it is. Thanks for sticking with me if you watch this long. I know that a lot of this probably wasn't that fun to watch, but I think you appreciate the situation I'm in, and I think you also appreciate that I just haven't done a vlog in a long time. I'm sure you can tell that I'm having fun recording a vlog again, because I really just enjoy rambling about stuff, even if it's not always the funnest topic. Again, it is what it is. You have to roll with the punches that life throws at you and everything. There's no use being all sad and depressed about it or getting scared. because that doesn't help you. That doesn't help you with your situation at all. Whereas being positive and being happy through and everything, that does help you. It doesn't always fix the problem, obviously, but it's better for your mental health that way. And you're better if you have a better mental health, then you're better able to continue to work. And working hard is always going to be better than not working. You know, I strongly believe that hard work really does get you places in life. You know, I didn't make a whole lot of money on YouTube for a really long time. It took me 10 years, I guess slightly more than 10 years, but 10 years of daily videos before I blew up. And those videos didn't help me blow up at all in terms of like building up in the algorithm or anything like that. No, it was that I got a lot of practice in doing all those videos. And so when I did blow up, I was practiced and I was experienced and I knew what I was doing and I was able to keep it rolling and make a good living for me and my family. And I'm really proud of that. And that wouldn't be true if not for a whole lot of hard work that I didn't get paid anything for, where the vast majority of videos made me $1 at most. That's how it is. You work real hard. And even if you don't feel like you're getting anything out of it, you're becoming a more resilient and a better person, and that will pay off in the end. Sometimes it takes a long time, but you just got to stick with it. You got to work hard, you know? Work hard, even if it's just for yourself, even if it's not helping anybody, but working hard for the sake of working hard makes you a good person on some level, you know? Helps you develop as a person. I wouldn't be the same person I am today if not for how I worked for a very long time, every single day, and loved what I was doing, you know? Yeah. I guess that's it. I'm gonna slap together an edit and make myself a well-deserved meal because, man, I'm starving. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching this very long vlog. And until next time, have a nice day.